Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Next story is a bit of a downer. Alabama court ruled frozen embryos are children. Experts explain potential impact to IVF treatment.
What?
Yeah, so the Alabama Supreme Court ruled last week that frozen embryos created through in vitro fertilization, or IVF, are considered children under state law and therefore are subject to legislation dealing with the wrongful death of a minor if one is destroyed. This comes about because there was an accident at a clinic that led to people losing embryos, and they are now suing them for wrongful death, and the opposition was like, they can't sue us for wrongful death because nobody died. But in the Alabama Supreme Court said that the Wrongful Death of a Minor Act applies to all unborn children, regardless of their location. Going on to say unborn children who are located outside of a biological uterus at the time that they are killed. Oh, yeah, it includes children who are located outside of a biological uterus at the time they are killed. So, yeah, that I wonder. So, IVF, like most IVF clinics, I think, if not all, when this ruling came down, they suspended treatment, but they still have embryos frozen.
Yeah, they're still there. What are they supposed to do with them?
Can the parents of those embryos now like apply for like SNAP benefits and
because they technically have children that are now Wait, hold. If it's a state-funded IVF facility, would that make those embryos wards of the state?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
this is one of those like legal. This is one of those legal can of worms situations where we 5 or 6 years ago we used to joke about how if you start calling embryos children, this is the logical end result you have to take up, and the logical end result is really, really freaking stupid. So maybe don't do that. And now Alabama's like, you don't understand. Hold my beer. My middle name is stupid.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, bring it all back to the first instance of this that we saw. I mean, might not have been the first one that happened, but first one I remember was the woman who got a ticket for going in the HOV lane.
Yep.
And she fought the ticket, and the judge
saying she was pregnant,
and the judge let her have it.
No, because laws are based off precedent, and if you have an established precedent after the removal of Roe that these fetuses are actually people, then all right, then I guess a fetus can be an employee, a fetus can be a passenger, a fetus can be just any number of things that we would ascribe to a thinking, breathing person that are stupid to ascribe to a fetus. But if we're going to keep with established precedent, we have to.
Yep.
Oopsie doodles.
Yeah. So the immediate impact of the ruling will be to allow 3 couples to sue for wrongful death after their frozen embryos were destroyed in an accident at a fertility clinic. I mean, I feel like if the accident was something that was like due to negligence or something, they should be entitled to some form of compensation, but wrongful death just seems like the wrong way to go about it.
This feels like a way to, through attrition, defund in vitro fertilization facilities, because that's one of the main ways that LGBTQ people are able to get children in states that will not allow them to adopt.
Yeah. Well, one of the dissenting judges, Justice Greg Cook, wrote that no court anywhere in the country has reached the conclusion of that the main opinion reaches, adding that it almost certainly ends the creation of frozen embryos through in vitro fertilization in Alabama. So, like, remember when they overturned Roe versus Wade and everybody was like, they're going to come for contraceptive and IVF next? And now here they are. Well, at first they were like, no, of course we're not going to do that. And now here they are doing that?
And now they're doing that. Like this.
Oh, no, I didn't expect the leopard to eat my face.
I feel as though everybody who is willing to give Republicans, because it just functionally, it's not conservatives in the country at all. It's It's the Republican Party in the country. That's what this is. You should not give the Republican Party of the United States an inch anywhere in legislation, because this is what happens. They take that and they run with it and go, oh, okay, I guess when we asked the hypothetical years ago of if you had to save a living child or a vat of frozen embryos, which one would you do? I guess they're choosing the frozen embryos.
Mm-hmm.
They're legitimately choosing the frozen embryos.
Yeah. So Progress only sent 95 bits and said, YouTube won't let me send a super chat, so I have this. As an IVF parent, fuck this ruling. Yeah? Abortion rights groups and IVF advocates have been warning about the possibility since before the Supreme Court's 2022 decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. Yeah. It's the public policy of the state to ensure the protection and rights of the unborn child, according to the Alabama decision.
Of course.
Yeah, never mind the rights of, like, actual people.
Well, actual people aren't super important to them, even though actual people are the ones that vote.
Dr. Mary Matriani, co-founder and chief science officer at the Gattaca Genomics, told CBS News that the ruling poses serious and potential unintended consequences to the fertility industry as a whole, threatening Alabamans' rights to start a family. Yep. You'd think that the party of family values would be happy with more families. And like that's one of the things that they like when they rail against contraception. They're always like, "Oh, well, you know, we're supposed to have kids. God wants us to have kids, and now people are trying to have kids." And they're like, "Nope, not you."
No, because I'm curious sometimes about this one, because I always hear that gay people are unfit parents, and we never actually have any data to suggest that isn't also informed by bigotry causing problems.
Because all the data shows that kids of LGBTQ parents do either just as well or in some cases even better than the kids of straight parents.
Yeah. And when we find instances where they don't do as well, it tends to be because there is actual bigotry in the area that they're in that is influencing that. So the numbers may be even more in their favor than what data shows. Mm-hmm. So it is frustrating to me that these people argue literally entirely from their hip about this kind of shit. I'm going to be covering a video later today of Brett Cooper, if you're familiar with her.
No.
Let's just go ahead and call her Femme Shapiro. Not in the way that Ben Shapiro's actual sister is Femme Shapiro, because she just looks like you stapled boobs onto Ben. But no, Brett Cooper is just the Daily Wire's attempt to get the Zoomer audience. And she has a video that she's going to be that she bitches about trans women lactating, giving milk to their children. And I've already done an interview with Naomi, who had Matt Walsh, get all up in her shit for feeding her children breast milk, and she is a trans woman. So I've already got somebody who did all of the research for it, and I've done an episode with her. So I'm like, okay, I know what goes into this. I know that this is fine. What argument possibly could Brett have besides that's icky? And it's almost always that's icky, or that's not natural, or what is the world coming to? It's kind of...
It's chemically identical to a cis woman's breast milk, but it's icky.
Yeah, that's I've heard, it's identical to pus. I'm like, how? In what way? It doesn't share the same chemical properties.
Because it looks like it if you have it sitting out for a bit.
Yeah, all milk does that.
Yeah, breast milk is gross. Have you ever seen that shit?
Actually, no. I haven't seen breast milk despite certain predilections.
Yeah, no, it's not pretty.
But 10 out of 10 children will agree it tastes great.
No, 10 out of 10 children will actually not agree. That's one of the main reasons why some people use formula, is because the kid just refuses to drink it.
So what we do is we eliminate... I almost said we eliminate some of the children out of the study, but then I realized, it just sounds like I'm saying we eliminate some of the children.
Okay.
That's not what I mean.
Transitioning back away from boob juice, back onto IVF. A recent survey found that 42% of American adults say they have used or know someone who has used fertility treatments, including IVF, which means that this is likely another one of those dog caught the car scenarios for the Republicans, where it's like,
You've
yeah,
got it now. What are you going to do with it?
We finally got the thing, and oh shit, that actually is bad for us because now we can no longer be like, hey, we can't do the thing anymore. I think we covered all the big stuff here. Okay, I like this quote at the end. Oh, who's speaking? She, Dr. Mary Jacobson. She called the ruling. She's an obstetrician gynecologist. I can say that. I don't know. OBGYN.
OBGYN.
That's what it is. Yes, I was trying to say it when it's just say the letters. God damn it.
I've never seen that happen before. That's actually really funny.
Well, glad I can at least give you a new experience. So she's an OBGYN. She's called the ruling a continued assault on our freedoms and an erosion of the doctor-patient relationship, because, of course, the party of freedoms is only the party of freedoms when it comes to owning guns, not anything else. She says, most of us became doctors to help people. Criminalization of a positive intention pits infertility teams against patients and will have devastating effects. So, like, that's the other part of this here is that, like, the whole reason this went through is so that some patients of these fertility clinics could sue the clinic for wrongful death. So now this is, like, it's inherently putting the patients against, like, as in an opposition to the doctors, which is not how it should be. And she says, what's next? The criminalization of miscarriage, criminalization after a missed menstrual period.
We've already had criminalized miscarriages.
Yeah. And there's been, I've seen plenty of people recommending that anyone that has one of those like menstrual cycle tracking apps, maybe do that on paper now.
Off. Yeah, don't use those things because they keep their data. And if a subpoena happens, then you're kind of liable at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm sure there is a way to do it in such a way that, like, either, like, it's complete, like, the data just stays on your phone, but even then, if they have a warrant for your phone, if it's specific to you, or maybe using a VPN to anonymize it and make it look like you're out of state, but then your phone would have to always be connected to the VPN anytime that app has any access to the internet. I don't know. It's a tough situation. And it's not outside the realm of possibility that there are going to be scenarios where, like, hey, we subpoenaed data from this menstrual tracking thing and we saw that this person missed a period, but now they're buying tampons again. So what went on there? Did they get an abortion?
And then suddenly we're dealing with... Then suddenly a law enforcement agency that is already ill-equipped to deal with Americans are now having to also hunt down grieving women. Because that's a good use of our tax dollars.
Okay. We're just gonna... I'm done with this news article.
Yep.
I've said that all that I need to say. It sucks. 2 of my grandkids are alive because of abortifacient. God damn it. I've never actually said that word out loud. I've only ever read it. And I feel like that's spelled incorrectly too, so that's not helping me. Abortifacient.